this afternoon. I hope everyone noticed that this presentation for half an hour is going to be in English. Yeah. My name is Michael. I'm sales manager or country manager at IT Job Board. Been with the company now for 6 years. But as you can see, I'm going to say a bit more about social media, the changing face of recruitment. So is that a reality? Is it a hype? Is it new? Is it here to stay? Well, to start off with, all the major players at the moment are developing people aggregators or social search engines. So you might have seen at Monsterboard, they now have a tool called Talentbin. At the moment, IT Job Board, which is part of the Dice Holding Group, which is a very big IT recruitment site in North America, which just purchased us last year. They've created a tool called OpenWeb, which I would also like to give you a very short video of. It's going to be 1 minute to explain a little bit more. So let's kick off. So the agenda is going to be like the current recruitment landscape, that recruitment is multi-channel, professional and social networks, and I want to stand then also, of course, still with the advantages and the opportunities that are still out there. People aggregating or the social search engines and how they work, social recruitment and how it's changing the landscape of recruitment. And then, of course, I will conclude it. So let's kick off with the current landscape. There's a lot out there, and for recruiters, it's very difficult to find out and understand all these different tools out there. You've got the job boards, you've got the people aggregators, social media, you've got Twitter, you've got Pinterest, you've got YouTube. You've got so many different tools out there that it becomes really difficult to find out, especially if you've got more than only IT roles in your business, on what to decide and where to spend your time on. So what we find is that you first need to understand your market and the people that you've got in your business, but more important, where are those people? After being 6 years at IT Job Board, what I really find out very often, speaking to recruiters, speaking to HR people, is that very often they forget to look at the point of view from a candidate. Very often they write the business and they write their job postings from the perspective from the business. But very often, a candidate does not search on Java Guru. Yeah? They look on Java Developer or Java Entwickler. And those small nuances can make or break the success of finding people. So we work together with a lot of different businesses. This is a study that Alexander Mandat did. So this is not just for Germany, this is global. I'm aware that Xing is very big in Germany. So what does this show? Which social networks are sources using most at the moment? So at the moment, 96% of the interviewed people, and this was a survey under 350 people, recruiters or sources, 96% people said they were using LinkedIn. So that would then be equivalent here to Xing. 55% of the people were saying that they were using Twitter. But very interesting, 52% of the people were using YouTube as a social tool to find new stuff. I will go in a bit more detail in a second. 37% Facebook, and Google Plus is slowly getting up there, which is also, of course, now with YouTube. So what is the opportunity of social media? As you can see, the United Nations did a study. At the moment, 6 billion people worldwide have access to the internet on their mobile phones. Only 4.5 billion people have access to a working toilet. Yeah? Just think about that. 6 billion people can just go on the internet from anywhere. So we've got all this skill out there, we've got all these people out there, but where do we find them? That's so difficult. So, looking at it, at some numbers from LinkedIn, again, Germany is not on this list, but I know that for Xing, they've got 16 million people in their Dachbereich. But for example, 25% of the entire Dutch population is on LinkedIn. That's 55% of the working population of 7.2 million people. That's huge. Still, where's the other 45%? Things are changing. LinkedIn had like a very big reach. You know, they're a great tool. But what I find as well, people firstly want to go to these tools to connect with other people that are like-minded to them. I don't go to LinkedIn to say, you know what, I want to be approached by headhunters or sources. That might be a plus and bonus, but first of all, I want to be connected with people from my industry and understand what they're doing as well. And LinkedIn is not the only thing out there. As you can see, there's like all these different social networks. There's like one standing right next to us, hrm.de. It's a social networking site for people from the HR business. So if you're looking for HR people, is it always wise to work with the big names out there? Or is it sometimes wise to go to these more specific niche tools on the market? And it's difficult, because especially if you've got a very big company, you've got a very different amount of departments. Where do you go to? Which channels? How much time do you have? So there's like a lot of research that needs to be done. So the tool that we have, OpenWeb. So OpenWeb is a social search engine. I'll show you again in a second what it exactly does. But the great thing about the tool is we can connect our database to your database and completely update from all the social networks out there and update all the CVs that you have. So we just did that to our database. And just to give you an idea, 51% of the people from our database is to be found on LinkedIn. That means that 49% of those tech professionals from our database are not on LinkedIn. They're on different networks. Where are they? That's the big question. So just to show you the importance of multi-tool recruitment, I've got here a testimonial from Delivery Hero. Don't worry, I'm not going to read it out, but to conclude, they're using generic but also specialized job boards, because what they see from the generic ones is that they get a good amount of quantity. They also get good quality, but for example what they found with us is that they saw that they were getting even more quality on the more higher level candidates. They also have an in-house team that directly approaches candidates on both LinkedIn and Xing, and they also still use print adverts, although they see that for them it's getting less and less interesting. So what are the benefits of using multiple channels then? Well, of course, brand awareness, showing your competitors, showing to just anyone that you're out there, your brand name, to make sure that people will find you. If you're constantly in someone's face, people will find you, they will talk about you. So that also means that you will get a constant in-stream of candidates. You don't have to worry about drying up. You will spend more time speaking also to relevant candidates, but there will also still be a lot of non-relevant candidates. And as good practice dictates, you still need to write them an email back, or that's what you're supposed to be doing, and saying like, sorry, but you're not the right person for us. And that can take up a lot of your time. So more tools will take you more time, and you'll spend less time speaking to those people that are important to you. And that's just a general trend with all these social media. You can do whatever you want, and you can have all these tools to your availability, but you're not speaking, you're not interacting anymore. Yeah? I see it in sales as well. Call stats will go down from 90 to 40 calls. You're not speaking to enough clients anymore. You're not speaking about what is their ideas and everything. So it's not just for finding new staff. It's all everywhere, in all departments in the company. Because how can you understand someone, what they want? And this is the other thing, very often candidates, or even myself, I'll get an email through LinkedIn, to Xing, through any channel, and I just get an email, I saw that you're in sales, this might be a job opportunity for you. And it's like an account manager role with 2 years of experience. It's not relevant to me. It shows to me that that person, which is representing their business, has no interest in my profile. It's too generic. So how do you pick your tool? Well, that's a very good question. So I'm sure that most of you will do this, but just to go through it, first you need to check who's your target group. If you're an IT company, it might look at it as very simple. We have IT people will go to, well, I hope IT job board. But you still need to check, because if you've got, for example, help desk people, you might as well speak to, for example, a very generic job board, because they have a lot of candidates for those kind of roles. If you've got architects, where are those people? If you've got game developers that you need, where are those people? Are they with IT job board? Are they with Monster? Are they with Stepstone? That's a very good question. We need to find that out. So we need to analyze if the target group is in high demand and what is the group's availability to you for your business. You need to do that for every single separate role. Project manager might be much easier to find than a business architect with 7 years of experience. Or where is that HR professional that you need with 5 years experience? So what strategy is best for the different areas? Where can your audience be found? You need to take into account the resources that you have, like how many recruiters does your business have? For some businesses it makes perfect sense to use a recruitment agency. Yes, they are expensive, but if that saves you a lot of time because your team's not big enough for one specific role, and you don't have the knowledge, then that's perfectly fine. So, unfortunately, I only put these on the front row. I put some flyers with some statistics from our website. So we did a survey under some tech professionals, but it's also here on the screen. If you don't have one and you would like to have it, please just leave your business card with me afterwards, and I will send it across. So, 80% of the people said that they go to social networks mostly to meet up with other IT people. 81% said, you know what, we also use these social networks to find new jobs. So how often do they update their profiles? And this is something that is really difficult. This is also if you just buy access to any CV database from us or from our competitors. What you will find is that if you're looking for the newest skill set out there in IT, might be Django, people don't update their CV to that newest skill set until they look for a new job, which might be 2 years from now. And that's the difficulty that you have, because 38% of the people here are saying, I do not update my profile on a social network until I'm ready to move forward. So how do we find them? How do we know then where these people are? So these are the most favorite networks that our IT professionals on our network use. So 39% of the people use Sing, 23% of the people use LinkedIn. But what is very interesting to see is you've got like some specifics coming up. Microsoft TechNet, Stack Overflow, GitHub. Anyone here doing IT recruitment, have you heard of them? No? I see some faces now. I don't see a lot of faces, yes. So these are IT communities. This is where people go to meet other IT professionals. Wouldn't it not be smarter to understand who's a good IT professional by meeting them on their own turf? Yes, it is. But how do you know which IT professional is on what network? Very difficult. So where do these IT people then go to? So the question was, to which social network did you go to? So I'm not talking about job boards or whatever. So again, 39% says we use Sing. 32% says we use LinkedIn. But again, people who are going to these tech communities are still interested in finding jobs. 4% Microsoft TechNet, Twitter 6%. So to conclude, there's 3 trends that we can see on social media. It's all about collecting data. It's about making sure that your data is up to date. But how do you make sure that the people that you're looking for, that their data is up to date? I mean, you can't push them. I mean, you can ring them up, you can ask for an up-to-date CV. You might get, the people that you're looking for might actually be a competitor of yours, or they might even be a client of yours. So how are you going to be, cautious about that? You need to engage the passive job seeker. And what we mean with that is that you need to make sure that you build your own communities. This might be for the tech community, but for HR community. If you see that someone in your staff is amazing for the job that they're doing, ask them where they go to speak to other people like them. The answers that you'll be getting will be very interesting to find out. Have you ever asked that to your team? How often do you communicate with your teams about where did they go to stay up to date? Where did they go to speak to like-minded people? Because that's where you probably will find your next hire. But just asking a very simple question, you probably save yourself a lot of time. You need to analyze data from different sources. So you need to allow yourself to stay up to date on the latest trends. You might be an IT recruiter. I've been in the business for IT job board for 6 years, but sometimes I hear skill sets. I've never heard of them. CoffeeScript? No? I've just learned about it 2 weeks ago. It's a very specific niche skill set. If you don't know about it, what the next thing is, how can you then also lead your business and advise your management on where you need to take the next steps to make sure that you're ahead of the competitors? There's so much information out there, big data, but But how do you put that all together? It's a lot of questions. So you've got all these you've got these social networks like Xing, LinkedIn, social, Facebook, Google+, and then you've got your niche websites. Now again, I'm looking through my IT job board glasses, so there might be a lot out there. I do know that there's over 300 social network sites. 300 plus social network sites. If you just go, for example, now to Wikipedia, I think they've got like a list that's not conclusive of over 349 social media sites. Just put in social media, Wikipedia, you will get a list that long. Just have a look for yourself. So statistic-wise, 313 million registered members at the moment on LinkedIn. Xing, 16 million registered members. Stack Overflow, you've got 2,700,000 registered members. Facebook, over 1 billion members. So that's a huge potential. Absolutely huge. If you have to speak to every single person, it will take you about 50,000 years. So if you've got such a huge coverage and so many different sources to stay in contact with all those passive job seekers, how do you do that? Of course, there's a huge potential for rich data, but with big data, how are you going to filter that down so that you can use that for your own business? So as you can hear, there's like a lot of hows. I'll get to what we can do about that in a second. This is just an example of how you can meet people on their own turf. This is Facebook and Meetup. Does anyone here know Meetup? Yeah, I see 2 hands. So Meetup is a tool. So if I would move from Amsterdam to Frankfurt, which I did, I just wanted to meet some new people. I don't know anyone there. So you go to the website, sign yourself up, and you just look for people who speak English or like-minded like yourself, and then you can meet them. I don't think a lot of people know there is, for example, a group in Frankfurt specific for game developers. So they meet up once every 2 weeks to talk about their industry. What you should not do is go to that group and talk about all the prospects and all the potentials that you have with your company. Yeah. What you can do is go there, just offer them a cup of coffee. Say like, my business is in the game development industry. We would like to move forward. What are the newest trends? What do you guys see? Maybe have like an exhibition or like organize a barbecue for them. I don't know. Ask them. But there's like a lot of potential out there. If you need people today from a very specific skill set, look for them at the right spot. So benefits of social network. So you've got a whole list here. Brand awareness, obviously. Creating a community. Find the professional and then find the professional that they hang out with. There's millions of profiles. Now, the benefit here is that usually with social networks that the entry level is either free or comes at a very low cost. But it can be expensive if you have to be having multiple paid accounts. LinkedIn, Xing, Stack Overflow, I'm just saying. So how do you know which sites are the right ones? How do you approach certain branches? And it's going to be time consuming. If you've got HR, IT, sales, that's already 3 different networks, and all those might have subdivisions with other social networks. So you need to interact daily to stay visible. So that means you need to have a few updates on those networks so that people know that you mean business, that you're a serious potential hire for the future. So we need to start changing our game, or your game. So focus on interacting with candidates on their level. Just think about it. If you're a candidate, what do you want? I always hear a lot of people, even when they come to me, when they start pitching their products, what we want to do. We want to hire. Yeah? Talk about what they want. It's much easier. Focus on the vertical markets where possible. Know the ins and outs. I mean, if you've got a salespeople startup, you can easily put it like, again, on a generic site. You probably get like a lot of in-stream, you don't have to worry about it. So only worry about the profiles that are going to be difficult. Which brings me then to social search engines. So what is a social search engine? A social search engine, or a people aggregator, is, in our instance, it's called Open Web, but it's a tool that looks at all the different social networks where people are and puts them together in one profile. So you've probably already seen Talentbin, the monster. We have Open Web. So what I'm going to show you is a 1.5 minute video of Open Web, which explains exactly how this works. you can see, there's a Dutch number on there. We're still about to launch it in Germany. We just want to make sure, with data protection laws, that everything's in the right order and in the right place. We just want to make sure that everyone's happy before we launch it. What comes with this, and this is a great tool for recruiters, we have like so many IT people out there, or IT recruiters, or just an HR person that